What's up, everybody? It's Wombat. So pretty much every single comment I get on the videos I've been posting are show us your build, show us your build, show us your build. So I'm going to show you my build. I also did a ton of testing today to see what bow is really the best, what gear is the best, and get some information. And it's all on target dummies, and I'm going to go through that after I show you my current build. And then I'll show you where I think I'm going to go with my build based on this new testing data. The only thing I really have left to do is to test this on an actual person and see where the damage lies. So right now, let's just get into my gearing and then what I'm doing with my gear, and then we'll go into the builds and the weapon attributes. So every piece of gear I have right now is health LE aversion. And lightning harnessing is going to be my third perk that I use in most cases. The main reason for this is LE aversion is just super strong right now. It's fire staffs, it's half of blunderbusses, it's all of Boltcaster, or half of syncretic bows if people are splitting, void gauntlets, ice gauntlets. It's super strong, and it's probably the best perk in the game right now that you can have on armor. Health is just all around good, and obviously lightning harnessing for the damage. I'm using the electrified elemental ward, so I'm getting 2% damage resistance from elemental, because that's where all of my deaths really come from, are fire staff, split damage bows, so I'm protecting myself against elemental with opals. So that's what you're going to see, right? Same piece. I've got an explosive arrow here, replacing the lightning damage. I've got a refreshing, and I added health to the attuned leather pants, and then again the same piece again. Obviously I've got the bow with keenly jagged. My hatchet is keen speed, refreshing distancing throw. Keen can really be anything. These are the two important ones. This is huge for escape if you're playing bow. I only play 100 con. So if a melee gets close to me, I really need to be able to get away. And the distancing throw coming back up really quickly. If it crits or my other throw crits, I get keen speed and then I'm gone, right? So it's huge. I play Cannon Blast. It's a meme. I think it's hilarious, and it's just an instant shot into a crowd that does damage. I love it. I'm running Flame Protection on my neck. I'm running Mortal Empowerment because I like Mortal Empowerment more than any perk in the game. Lightning and Hardy, obviously. And I'm currently running Endless Thirst, giving it a try. Popping a mana pot to get 20% fort and 10% in power. It gives me a refreshing, which I only have 2, so it's nice. So that's my build. My resistances right now, you can see I've got 31 fire and 22 lightning. Everything else is at 10%. And then we will take a look at weapon or actually show you my attributes first, right? 25 strength, you want that because it's giving you 5% light and 10% heavy. This 10% heavy is actually applying right now here, so you don't have to go to 50. 150 int for the 2 elemental damages. 25 focus, 100 con. And again, this 25 focus, it gets me that extra refreshing because I don't have a lot of refreshing on my gear. And I'm already getting 10 points on the pants, so why not take it? Now again, I've done some testing, and this is actually not the build I think I'm going to be playing in the future, but this is the build you've seen in all the videos I've posted so far. And let's go to bow. So what do we take? If surrounded by 3 or more foes, gain haste. Sure, it's not awesome, but it's there. I'm not going for headshots. I'm not taking anything with headshots. It's just not worth the effort. Again, reducing cooldowns, not really worth it. Not worth inflicting a slow. Granting stamina, don't care. I am doing full rain of arrows. I am doing full poison shot. Obviously, the 2 haste perks. 10% more damage if you're suffering from a debuff. Hello, it's all just dots. You have to have that. Debuff durations last longer. Again, everything is dots. Of course, you're going to take that. And you always take the 15% more damage because you're dodging every 5 seconds, and course, it's just 15% free damage. And it's the whole reason you go down this side of the tree. Explosive arrow, full thing. We're taking 10% extra damage on heavies, 10% extra damage when they're farther than 10 meters away, 15% damage when they're below on health, and 15% damage as long as you haven't shot them recently. Headshots healing, I don't care. Increased crit chance, I'm already critting a ton. Distance that they fly is not really important. Once you get the feel of what you're shooting, it doesn't matter. I like opening strike, but like the chance that somebody has 100% health is not high. And armor when aiming is whatever. So this is my bow tree. And then my hatchet tree, you of course are going to take Defy Death. 20% more damage to targets below 30% health. Again, this isn't... Most of these aren't really going to help you. I mean, I do occasionally get hatchet throw kills, but it's not huge, right? You want the stuff that's going to help you escape. So reducing your bleeds and burns is absolutely important. You have to have it. Cooldown reduction is good. This is really worthless. I just didn't have to take the extra point to get Defy Death. 1 point in Rending Throw just to have it. 3 points in Social Distance. You know, if I get a crit, I get a little extra stamina back. You know, if I hit somebody that has a debuff on them, which they should, I get some stamina, or I get some cooldown back. Just do extra damage. And if I dodge after I throw, which I always throw a hatchet and then dodge backwards, it's consuming less stamina. So that's my current build. Those are my attributes. That's what I'm doing. So hope that gives you all the information that you were looking for. I'm going to go through some numbers on some testing I did, and then I'm going to show you what I think my new build is going to be, because it's not going to be this. Alright, so here's the damage testing that I did today. These are all heavy damage shots, and I tested the Attuned Leather Pants versus the knee guards. And I'll get into why with the knee guards a little bit later. But these are the two things I've been considering. With the Attuned Leather Pants, I was looking at every one of these tests had 25 strength, 25 focus, 100 con on all builds, honing stone and food. Knee guards were just 25 strength, 100 con, honing and food. So you get the extra refreshing when you take these pants. What I did was I did 25 int, 50 int, 150 int. You'll see that's a little bit different than with the knee guards because you just can't take all of the decks when you have 0 int. Just because of the number of points you get with the Attuned Leather Pants, you'll go over 500 decks and it doesn't work. Then I tested the damage that Boltcaster does, a split damage bow does, and the syncretic bow with all thrust. And these two are taking into account the ticks from your gem. So if you are running the gems in your weapons, this is going to give you your tick information. Now the other thing I did when I did this testing was, right, I've got my electrified gambit in, so whenever I used the syncretic bow, I always dodged, and I always shot after dodging several times, making sure my stamina was down, so you're getting the bonus from the gambit. I also made sure there was always a dot on anything I was shooting, so that all of your int procs are going off, and it makes sense that, you know, you spent points in that, you're going to get that damage, right? So those are two things that I did. And then I also, since my Boltcaster is full lightning damage, and I am lightning harnessing and lightning gemmed, I went and took a set and bought all sighted stuff and put an entire set of sighted together, right? And just to make sure that all of my damage is equal, or the damage that numbers that you're going to see matches what you would have in reality if you were playing this build. So the split damage I used with my lightning stuff and my lightning ring. The just full regular damage syncretic bow I did all sighted gems, and threw on thrust ring, so that again you would have the full real numbers that you would see if you were playing these builds. So let's hop back over to the spreadsheet and take a look. Okay, so interestingly enough, the 150 int, when you're playing with the attuned leather pants, did not equate to being the highest damage. In all cases, 50 int was the best damage. 50 int is where you get your dot damage to apply, or the extra damage from dots. But I expected this to be much higher, considering you get 20% additional damage on elemental for getting to 150 int. The fact that they nerfed the 20% from 35% obviously has had a huge impact on this. But I have been running with 150 int in all the videos that you've seen, and actually it's just slightly better if you're going 50 int. So something to know. Also, the full thrust syncretic bow is 10% stronger than the Boltcaster. Now this is just raw damage on a target dummy, right? So yeah, it's higher. Some of that is tick damage, right? So you can take off 900 of that damage. 9,500 is the initial shot, 9,521. So it's still just slightly less damage than the Boltcaster on the initial shot, but then you're getting those 3 ticks afterwards. So interesting that the full thrust syncretic bow is better in a straight damage situation. The downsides to the syncretic bow is that you do have to constantly dodge to reduce your stamina to get your max damage, right? And I know with bow, everybody's like, oh, you have to dodge anyway because you want to get your extra 15%. True, but you only have to dodge every 5 seconds or before you shoot, so it can be longer to get that damage boost. But to keep your stamina low, if you're just going to constantly be firing, you have to dodge every 3 seconds. So it makes you dodge once more in between your shots, which can cost you a little bit of time and a little bit of DPS. 2 thrust gems in anyone's gear negates any advantage that you get. Right now, I think this is the biggest reason that Boltcaster is better than the full thrust syncretic bow. I just think people are still running thrust gems. And until the Boltcaster becomes more popular, or if it becomes more popular, that may change. But right now, people are running thrust gems and not running lightning protection, which results in just extra damage out of the Boltcaster versus the full thrust bow. And the syncretic bow is just less bursty. Shirking lightning is significant. It is the reason that you're seeing some of the gigantic hits that I'm getting in these videos when you just compare to a bow with attunement. So definitely lower on the burst scale. And I've done some OPRs with the split bow and the not split bow and Boltcaster, and it's 100%. You can feel the difference when you're playing. So again, just a little bit more information. The downside to the Boltcaster is the Bolt perk is fucking worthless. It is as bad as a perk can get. I have never once seen it proc in an OPR, even when I have repeatedly hit the same person over and over and over again. I have not seen this perk. There is no way you shoot one person 4 times with basic attacks and have not killed them yet. That's it, right? Because you're going heavy attack, explosive, heavy attack, poison, heavy attack, maybe a rain, and then heavy attack, right? If you've hit somebody that many times and you're hitting them for 5,000 a shot, they're already dead. So this perk is stupid and it needs to be changed or taken out, or something needs to be done with it. Shirking lightning is not nearly as consistent as attunement. You know, if you're just sitting back and shooting, no one's shooting at you, it does nothing, right? Where attunement is a consistent source of damage. You're basically getting it on every heavy shot, and it's whatever it is, 12%-ish bonus. So it hits harder. And the biggest downside of Bolt is I'm running 4 lightning harnessing perks that could be Enchanted Ward or any other perks that you want, refreshing, anything else, right? So that's a big downside right there. So then let's take a look at the knee guards, right? So why am I considering the knee guards? Well, if you take the damage difference between the attuned leather pants and the knee guards, what does it look like? If you go full thrust syncretic bow, you're losing 3.2% damage by not having the extra stats. If you're on Boltcaster, you're only losing 1.3% damage to go to the knee guards versus the attuned leather pants. You're also going to lose 2 refreshing, right? Because you have a refreshing on the pants and you've got a refreshing that you're getting from the 25 focus. But here's what it does to your resistances. My current resistances on my attuned leather pants set, I've got a bunch in fire, I've got 2 lightning gems, all of my other elemental is 32.5, and that is with all of the elemental aversion and the opals, and I've got 19% extra health. No thrust, no enchanted ward. Now if I go to the knee guards, I'll still be at 53% fire, and this is me shifting some gems around to be able to get some stuff into thrust, right? So my lightning is going to go down to match all of my other elementals, and I'm going to take that fire gem, and I'm going to take those 2 lightning gems, and I'm going to put them all into thrust. So that takes my thrust, and it's going to boost my thrust up based on, it'll get 18% on gems. I'm getting 4.5% from a physical aversion that's on the pants, and I'm getting the 10% straight damage resistance from all damage, giving me a big increase in thrust damage protection. So there's across the board, there's a really good bonus in damage reduction. I've chosen to take all of that damage reduction and instead of make it across the board, to throw it into one spot. But you're really gaining like 25 percentage points of resistance that you can kind of spread all over the place, which is like you're putting on these pants and you're getting 5 extra gems, right? Like 5 extra elemental gems worth of, or thrust gems, right? Like it's a big deal. And then you also get enchanted ward. So what I'm looking at doing is, and I'm testing right now, is I believe I'm going to go to the knee guards and I'm going to run a 0 int build with the knee guards with the Boltcaster right now. Again, I'm not doing the full thrust syncretic just because people are running too much thrust ward still, I believe. So I'm going to give this a try. I may jump back and forth and go to a full thrust syncretic bow with the finisher or something like that, just have that extra little bit of damage. In this case, you're still 8% stronger on your syncretic bow than your Boltcaster. The interesting thing here is adding the int doesn't actually help you on any of these because you need to have you have less stats to play with. So this is where I am right now, right? The Boltcaster, I'm still using it. I still think it's the play for the extra burst and the fact that people are just not gemming to lightning yet. I think as people start to go a little heavier into elemental protection rather than thrust protection, this is going to change, and you might want to go and roll over to the full syncretic bow. So let's just hop back onto the other page and show you one more thing. It's a tough call because I already have the gear, right? Like all of this gear is built for me already. If I go to a light pair of pants, then I have to replace a very expensive 80,000 gold chest piece with the exact same chest piece in a medium, and I have to replace a helmet, which is just, it's a lot of gear to replace when you already have a perfectly rolled set. So what I'm most likely going to do is run this setup in 50 con, and then I'm going to go for my knee guards. I'm going to run these as the sighted version and get a set of full health, elemental aversion, and enchanted ward gear with sighted gems to play with my full thrust syncretic bow and get a thrust ring to go with it, and that'll be my swap basically. And in that case, I'll probably use this with finisher rather than using a hatchet. But that's what I'm thinking. That's where I think I'm going to go eventually. Just depends on where the meta tends to shift to with what people are gemming against. I could see a version of putting these pants on, keeping all the lightning damage, and just possibly not going with full, not going with the full armor and just swapping in, you know, a medium piece instead of having the medium chest, just to make it a little bit cheaper and easier to get by, and to give those pants a try. So that's it. That's my build. That's where I am right now. You can see I was just playing at this build at 150, but technically the best thing you can do right now, after I put food on, if you're playing Boltcaster and you're going with 100 con and what I'm doing with the pants, alright, that's going to be your build. That's going to be your top damage that you can possibly do. And I know it's weird because you're giving up 20% extra damage by going to here, but those 100 points into dex are making a difference and are actually doing more damage than the 20% extra elemental damage right now. So that's it. It also impacts your abilities. So here's your build. Thanks for watching. If you like this type of content, give me a subscribe, give me a like. And as I do some more testing and do some more real world testing on some friends, I'll let you know what the differences are. Thanks for watching.